Guys, welcome to Archetype Insights with me, Sharon Dane. Today, the topic is based on complications, how we create complicated life systems, processing, and how we complicate our world in a short minute. Yes, of course. So, back to the topic. Complications is everywhere. I never thought, being in India, it will be very difficult, to consider, to come back to the work or everything. It's because I never knew the lockdown is going to be like, for such a long period of time. And of course, the epidemic, the variants have been increasing tremendously. And it's like don't want it to work in here, and I thought I would be working in here. I always had a notion that I'm gonna go back, but I was just waiting for the time to come. But nothing was working, and then I decided to come up with something else. The only thing was it is very demotivating. It's something scary when you look the things around you, because of I believe the system is not very strong enough. Back in UAE, things are the same. However, there's a lot of because UAE is based more into projects, okay? So they welcome people who have insights and who have a better projects to give. They reward people who can come up with the good ideas and good views and good creativity to support the nation and its people, and that would be accepted if it looks to be very royal, and how the citizens can be protected as well. That's one mentality out there, but not completely, I could say. But most of the advanced country have different strategies altogether to protect your nations, your people, and come up with different techniques and methodologies, or probably different strategies altogether, which look more adhered by the citizens, and it goes in the favor of them, and it also help the people to move on. And very simplified, I would say trillions of population everywhere, right? And even in India, the population count is gonna be increasing, because the recent past, the news have come, people from people who have left the country, they had to come back because there's not much jobs available in there. The expat rates, have to be relocating to their country, and that's gonna be increasing more chaos, more complications. And when there is no jobs availability, it's even more difficult to see how they're gonna survive in the country. And a lot of things are going on. So there's just a small highlight. When you look into the system, completely as compared to the advanced country, it's more chaotic. I don't know where the chaos is, where the complications are. Of course, if the leadership quality, or if the top management will make things more restricted and strict, and highly adhered with the principles, then the lower categories, or probably when it breaks down to the citizens, it can go in a very smoother flow. All right, people create chaos because they don't know where they are leading to, they don't know where they are going, and they needed right guidance, they needed a right way to go. But when they try to channelize the message onto the topmost, there is no answer for anything. So the advancement of the country is not just in the hand of the leaders or the top management, but also in the hand of each and every citizens of the country. But I believe, now just for an example, I try and book the COVID vaccination, which just began 2 months back. The drive for the age category from 18 to 44 years, and that is way too complicated, guys. If I have to say, I will let you know what I have faced back in UAE and what I'm facing out here. There are one website which says you need to do the registrations, and then when you try and book the slot, it doesn't really accept you. So you wonder, okay, maybe there's another link onto it, and then you go, you try and come out, and then look into the search again. There will be two different other sites. When you try and click, it take you to a page of long content which has certain hyperlinks, but when you click in there, nothing takes you anywhere. Okay, and then you wonder, how am I gonna book the slots, how the scheduling has been done. So you try and understand through the YouTube, and then you realize there's a two different app altogether to register for your slots and to have a slot booking done, to check with your pin code, and they intimate you when there is slot availability, and you need to put that pin code and then pull the slots if it is appearing. Even that does not work, guys. And when you do that, you literally understand it doesn't take you anywhere. It actually helps you only with the pin code thing, because in order to book the slots, again, it shows all booked, and it starts from somewhere around morning 9 o'clock or afternoon 3 o'clock onwards, and then you just sit there, and whenever you try and log into that site through the app, that the app is about Telegram and Paytm. So I tried with Telegram, and then when you try and book the slots through the app, when they intimate you, it does not work. Trust me, it shows all booked, and there's no green button to click you for your booking. And then you wonder how you can do it. So I got the information from the medical center. When I called them, they said that you have to check with your ward members or your president in your district, or probably the representative of your the small village locality, and they would be able to book for you. And then they given you another link which actually takes you in there to book. And the whole thing is so complicated, isn't it? Why we all are tech driven people, why we could not make one vaccination app which can be accessible to everyone. And I'm very sure now, since the variants are increasing and it's changing its effect, even the children are not less, so even they also need to be vaccinated or sterilized sooner or later. And it is happening in the country. Even the kids are also being given the vaccination. So even for them, it's very important to make the system much more simpler and easier to access, because this is a sterilization process. If you try and stretch it more and make it more complicated, it will actually complicate the mortality rate higher. It will actually pull the mortality rate higher. It will actually pull more death rates happening, because it's in the air, it's in everywhere. And even the news were being spread that even being at home, you need to wear the mask. Those days have come through. And even the lockdown systems, if you have to see, the lockdown systems are like throughout for the whole 2 months, 3-4 months. And that is really tedious, because it is really unbelievable. How would people survive? How would we even get back to the work? Forget about survivability, that is affected definitely. Talk about country's development, industry's development. The country will not work without people working for them, or people working with them. Though we let the hiring on, at present I'm not working, though I'm an HR, I'm really stuck in my position. I don't see any calls coming in, though the lockdown is up, people are moving, but in order to move to different states you definitely need a vaccination. But this is, if this is the condition that you have to wait, and the entire system is so compressed with complications that you have to check for the date and then to the website and then different apps, and then there's nothing available, and then you have to connect with the ward representatives, and then they give you a different site altogether. Then you wait until it is approved, and then you realize certain district and states doesn't have the allowance at all. So it's very very complicated, guys. What I have seen in UAE when I've been there, if you have the citizenship or the Emirates card, you just have to go and take your vaccination, and it is free vaccination. There's no price, and also people are playing at this time, asking money, because it's one way of earning to them, and they feel it's cool because they are earning some money. And there are paid vaccination centers, or there are paid vaccination given to the people as well. But the thing is, when you are working for the people and the system did not allow you to earn money, why do we try and make things complicated for ourselves when you ask money upfrontly just to book the slots, guys? That looks really awkward, isn't it? It really looks awkward. It's not about paying you some bucks, but the thing is how people are taking advantage of this time, when sterilization is a process given by the medical center in order to save the people's life, in order to eradicate the epidemic as early as possible. Because this epidemic is so disastrous, is so dangerous, it is keep changing its formation. And the moment the lockdown is up, I'm very sure the third wave is not so far. It is definitely gonna be striking the country. And I was just wondering, epidemically, if I had to understand why the third waves are increasing too badly as compared to other countries, even in some countries like Russia or the Europe, or but not everywhere. Major reason is the discipline. Major reason is you need to guard yourself in coming with the close proximity with another human being, or to even to think that vaccination will keep you sterilized for throughout the lifetime. That's not true. It's widespread. It will never be going anytime sooner, and it's kind of like coming to an end circle of the humanity as well, the human spectrum to say, in the human life, because this kind of virus is well thought and invented, or probably it is something unbelievable, the way its forms are changed, the way it is breeding within in the contact of human life and human being, and how it is even changing its form to affect the children, the kids as well. So it's very it really affects you when you think about it. How we gonna breathe? How we gonna exist in this world if this is the situation? Trust me, guys. India has to come up with a lot more better platform and developed platform for its citizens. Even some of the time when I see the news around, the parliament members are fighting, and there's like, they wanted to implement something but they feel it's not safe. They have some kind of tendency of temper tantrums. The entire system is so complicated, isn't it? Even from the top management leadership position, if you try and make the system wherein the leaders, like the government leaders, are doing the best, are understanding, the research is taking its pace to a great level, we are, if you look at the medical professionals, they are working die-heartedly for the patients. Few months back, when the death rates were increasing like anything in the country, like flies, people are dying. I've seen some of the doctors who have been crying and requesting you to do the vaccination and save your life. And when uh, 2 days back, when I try and connect with these people for a slot booking, and they ask you the money, do they really care for the life, guys? They care for the money, and it's one way of earning. But then thing is, this is not the time to break the ethics and the rules. This is the time when you show a little, come forward to share that concern that, oh guys, yes, I can give you the slots, help me out, or let me pull you, what's your age, where you stay, and okay, this is the availability, would you like to book, and give you the time and the date. You can do by your end, or they can do it for you. That really shows a step forward for the humanity to save life, and it means a lot, guys, because if people take advantage of this time and make their pocket work first and not for the life, nothing is gonna change, because one life is saved, it's as equal to building the courage to save another 10,000 life or another 10 million life. And that's how we can progress. If you think negative, you think that let the person go to hell, if he's not making any payment, I'm not giving him a slot booking, and I don't care whether he's alive or not. Don't do this, okay? I'm not saying anything, you should not earn money, but the thing is, your system will pay you money, and we should implement such kind of a system where you would be paid if you try and help other people to sterilize as early as possible, or you give the vaccination slots for even 5 members to be vaccinated within your family or from your surrounding, and that would be paid for you as a reward system. I mean, that kind of system we need to be implementing, and I really appreciate the Modi has come up with, our leader has come up with um, the reward system for doing something remarkably great in the community and the society, that is being rewarded as the as the consideration of a person who can do spectacularly great, and that is being rewarded, okay? Because such kind of a reward and motivation to the humanity, or people who are really serving to the human life, to be considered for it. Because this is the time, guys. Where is the moral science? Where is those books we have studied in the school? We needed that schooling system now. We needed people to come up and rise again, um, in a form to help each other conquer life, spread information, knowledge, and protect each and other life. Because you understand, the government's development, or sorry, the country's development will definitely gonna be going down, okay? It will be steep down if you see people are dying, they are not vaccinated, they are not moving, they are not getting the work, and that is not gonna give the industry the growth what has been required. And if they are not working, definitely people will have a tendency to commit a suicide. I've seen so many cases in my personal life as well. I'm going with such a kind of distressful moment of how would I move ahead in terms of employment is concerned, because changing the country is not the only solution. Within the country, if you're able to do something that I feel like more patriotic, more towards my mother country than to any other nation. And when I see my own country is coming away with irresponsibility or ignorance towards life, and it really pinch you, it really make you feel like how that's the way we can make the money for sure. But that's not gonna last for long. But if you try and help one or two people, or if you try and vaccinate other people and generate that kind of interest and curiosity and willingness to vaccinate, or willingness to help people to get vaccination or sterilization done, it will help people to see humanity from a different angle altogether. And definitely you can help to low down the mortality rate, because we don't want the same epidemic flow again. We don't want the same kind of people dying like a flies again, and there is no space in the graveyard. You have seen it all. We have seen it all, and we don't want our countrymen or children or people or family to suffer like that. It's good to have a corporate vaccination. And also I believe that the vaccination drives should not be restricted only to the hospitals or to the clinic, when people have to come onto the queue, wait for the vaccination. I mean, there are so many medical students, so many medical colleges having the students. Why don't we employ them to give the vaccination of making a small time portable clinic everywhere in the district, and to associate them certain job tasks with certain kind of remuneration, and wherein they can go and visit the place and do the sterilization by themselves, give that kind of licensing, because I've seen that in happening in UAE. They've been providing the vaccination when the epidemic was like spread across everywhere, and the labors are high, okay, in that country. And the laborers may not be that educated, they may not be um, really strong with their mentality, and they can spread, but it's not with them as well, it can spread from everyone, okay. So at that point in time, they have been like opening up the clinic down the basement of a small time shopping place or shopping centers, or they have come up with a new clinic altogether in the city just for COVID vaccination. And trust me, people who wanted to go to the hospital, they can just go there. They who wanted to pay and get the vaccination, they can do that. Or who want a free vaccination, they can just show their Emirates ID and take the vaccination. Or people who wanted to book their slots, or the family members wherein they don't want to stand in the queue, or they wanted to avoid the hospitals, because this is the time when the hospital seems to be the most dangerous place ever, okay, in the entire history of the mankind. And they wanted to go and book or take the vaccination from the clinics, which is portable. Unlike that, clinic will stay in that place, or in the small places like shopping mall, or probably near to the universities, or near to the bus stations, or probably down to your any of the places, and or small time clinics as well, which is like portable. Okay, so that's not going to be forever, but they maintain in such a way that it looks like a well-renowned clinic. And then, because the projects are very quick in movement, in building up, and to build a small time clinic, it doesn't really cost them much. And they make that kind of equitability and accessibility for the people, to give some kind of admissions to work specifically for vaccinating as much as possible. Because there's a lot of tourists, there's a lot of visitors, a lot of laborers, and that is very dangerous to look at it. So all I have to say is, when we think from a project creational point of view, when we think from building up humanity, when we think of getting the courage and helping the people to be safe, even if one life is safe, guys, can make a lot of impact, trust me. And this I keep repeating in my most of the videos, like, save lives, save people, don't kill them and don't hurt them, and don't think this is a time of monetization. This is a time of humanity to come forward and stop the monetization process, help the people to have the slot booking as much as possible, so that you are sterilizing a family, you're sterilizing a life, and once you do that, you automatically will be paid by your employers or by the government authorities or by the leaders, and that should be the reward system. You're not just paid, guys, but you should also be rewarded. You know how many people you are sterilizing in one going in a day, and that person should be rewarded or recognized, and that is the kind of spirit or encouragement which most of the people, um, the leaders of the state should come up with, because that makes a lot of impact, within the understanding and how we can soon eradicate, or probably fight with this epidemic. Eradication is next to impossible, guys. This gonna be there, you know until we all gonna be alive, so I don't think it will, in my understanding from a clinical perspective, I don't think so. This virus is any sooner gonna be moved out from the human lifetime, because this is called to finish off everything. That's what I believe. This is gonna stay, and what is next is the development what we take ahead. I will excuse you, it's a prayer time, so we'll see you soon. In short, bye. Yes, guys, I'm sorry I have to keep it muted because that was just prayer and I need to remain silent for that. Alright, so what I have to tell you is, the system should not be complicated. We can simplify things from the top to the bottom line. We can make things much more simpler if we have new applications accessible to everyone. Everybody have a mobile and they can look into the apps, or the website should have that kind of slot booking availability, not to visit to two different sites altogether or two different apps to complicate things. And it should not be problematic for any layman to visit the website and understand, okay, that's the slot and I can book for it, and he don't have to, or anybody have to ask for help from anyone. Okay, so things should work it out in that way, and portable clinics is must. We have so many medical students in the country. They should be employed at this time, or social workers should be employed at this time to give the sterilization. If you look into the epidemic course earlier in the century, the sterilization was so important for smallpoxes and chickenpox and so many the syphilis and all, that the medical professionals used to visit the home and do the sterilization to everyone, and that the way they can cover up home, community and people based on the graphs of the population study and epidemics. So that's the way we can moderate at least the death rate, or at least people becoming stagnant, that they cannot do the vaccination because the system is getting pressed, and there is no way that we could get the help, because we need to look for different angles altogether, try and search this site and that app and then this person to pull the information, and then again you will land up in pain. So don't do that, and people should be rewarded, accepted as a team leader. Let the team leaders come out and help the people to do the vaccination as early as possible, the children to come up to be vaccinated equally, and help the process to look in an angle that how many people are being vaccinated by who, or how many people can do that vaccination, and based on those count they should be rewarded, recognized, or being monetized as well. So this kind of implementation in the country can really go a long way in order to help and curb, and how we are working together. We should have a system of a we consideration rather than I consideration or you consideration, because that is what is going to build the population much more stronger to fight against this epidemic. Or this is not the epidemic of saying, okay, America is safe, or this country is safe, that country is safe. No, it's an epidemic which is impacting the human life. Not even human life, guys. If it goes any further, we have to lose the pets or the the animals, and it is impacting. It is actually widespreading even to the wildlife. So looking to all that, most important is how we gonna take care of them as well. Okay, there's some new strategies to be implemented for the animals, or new kind of vaccination should be there for the animals to save them, to save their life as well. Because otherwise, it will be impacting to the mother nature in one way or form, because we think we are safe and they are not safe and we should not care. No, guys, everyone is equal in the eyes of mother nature. You, me, humans and animals, or in the wildlife, everything is equal. So everyone is equally being considered to do the sterilization or to have the vaccination done. And do not complicate things, because when you think we can complicate them, and then we will see how many of them are alive, we will wait to see the mortality rate. Even the mortality rate studies are not accurate, guys. There's so many deaths everywhere, but it's not been absolutely intimated or been accurately displayed. So there's many things are killing the nation and killing the country. um, Guys, help out the leaders to come out, build a strong team management, have a motivation to save people's life at this time, rather than helping them to see more deaths happening or any kind of monetization work. You should have a stoppage for that. So this is a small thing which I wanted to speak. It's louder than the voice, but and it's something, I don't know how far will be accepted, but a right team players, a right kind of a leadership, people with courageous act. I've seen the actor like Sodu Sudas coming forward and helping people to get job and paid or get some kind of work anywhere. These are the leaders, guys. Even our Prime Minister Modi is giving the recognition and rewards to the people who are doing in the society spectacularly great for other people, but not being identified or not come forth in the media. This kind of reward system can go a long way. So make the website easier, have an application which is easier to accessible, help the people to have a slot bookings easier, and have portable clinics in each, I could say every 200 kilometers there should be a clinic of sterilization, or a home sterilization would be a much more effective way to do. And there's a time to take an action on on many movements by the medical teams and professionals of the social workers, rather than we wait until the slots are open, and by the time you can see there's another death happening in your neighborhood or probably in your home. So we can work together, guys. We have this we approach rather than I you me approach. That could work a long way to go. So until the next insight, this is me Sharon saying you goodbye. But make sure you help our country, most importantly, and also the people who are expatriates or who are working in different countries altogether, looking such death rates happening, looking such criticality of the country. Don't think that I'm safe, I don't want to care for what's happening in there, and don't act strange, or don't act as if you never belong in here. Your mother country, the safety of your citizens, the most prioritizing impact should be in your mind. And if you have some education, some piece of education, or understanding of working in a different country, how their implementation, how their systems are, please inform that coming forward onto the YouTube, or helping to know the government to implement such kind of styles and systems. And I'm sure the government should be open-hearted to accept this kind of open-minded approach, since he's everywhere, he's doing spectacularly great. Mr. Modi, I have to say that he's coming out from every leader's style and implementing his own leadership of connecting with each citizens by social media and live chat and live messages, or probably through a conversation held with the people who are facing the complications and issues. So every state leaders or the representatives should work together to understand how we can actually low down the epidemic. Our concern is to fight against the epidemic, not to fight against each one of them, or addressing wrongly to any humanity. We have to save the humanity, and so to protect the wildlife. The next vaccination should be towards helping the wildlife to be protected. So these are small insights, guys, which makes a lot of importance at this time to see and not to be ignored, because I'm in the country where I feel really stuck. Movements are very slow. Our development of the country is going to be again a big challenge in the coming few time. And also the lockdown thing, rather than we should have the lockdown for the full month, we can have an implementation of a lockdown, as I've seen in the Middle East, just from 9 to 2, and then from there on there's lockdown, so people can go to the work from 9 to 2 or 9 to 3. The offices are open, the workplace is open, and then you need to close it from 2 p.m. on. The lockdown happens, only the supermarkets will be opened, and small time places of vegetations or food systems are open for letting the moderate life go on. But at least people can be employed, not a full-time lockdown, because the country has projects. It will be highly effective. The same way we should have in the mindset of our country's development and projects should not be stopped. So rather than having a full lockdown, if we consider having the time period and time slots, and then to let the lockdown happen from the evening on, it can impact not the not the country's development, and people will not consider committing a suicide, or suicidality will be stopped, and the poverty system can be holded back. So many people have no food, and so many people are affected, guys. So many things need to be changed. So to my brothers and sisters who are watching this and who are in different place in the country, and what your country has the implementations which can be helped to let the India have the same systems and flows, and if we try and help those things collaborated equally and manage to deliver this message to the leaders of the state people, I think this should be the time when everything should be open-hearted and live communication and open communication to help people to save life, and also remember wildlife, because animals are also part of our life, guys. So anything to come up with a new insight with you. This is me, Sharon, saying you goodbye. Till then, take care.